Well, my name's Alan Smith, and I'm a lighting cameraman. I started my career at Bournemouth College of Art, so I guess at your age I was at Bournemouth doing film and television. In Brentford, it was just what I was doing. I was checking films. I was a film examiner, so you check the negatives, you check the print. This was 16mm film, and you check it and you'd run it through for transmission because in those days, a film, when it was put out, was on film, and it went through what's called telecine. It's like a projector. So you had to check there was no muck or filth or anything on there, or scratches, and if there were, you'd have to reprint it. So the whole thing got reprinted. So yeah, I did that for 3 years. It's like working in a cutting room. And then in the 90s, tape came out, videotape, and all the cameramen didn't want to do that. So I volunteered, said, yeah, I'll do it, and got myself a job for 4 years on an arts programme called The Late Show. And that was how I learnt how to mess around with tape. Nobody ever watched the programme, but hey, I didn't care because it went out every night. So I was able to see what I'd shot, and that way you learn. Your duties as an assistant cameraman were to put the clapperboard on, you'd change all the film, you'd reload, because we had 3 magazines with 400-foot reels in, and each magazine was 10 minutes long. And it was mostly negative that we were shooting, colour neg. That was then my job to log it and send the rushes to the labs at the end of the day to have them processed. And overnight they'd be processed, they'd come back the next day, and somebody else in the department would check that the rushes were good, in focus, not scratched, etc. And also basically you were carrying a lot of the kit, you were packing, you were basically the cameraman's assistant. You'd drive the car, you'd do an awful lot of things, but you wouldn't actually film. Yep. The BBC, I'm not that bothered about, frankly. If you guys ever do want a job at the BBC, you'll be working for nothing initially, I warn you. They are an amazing employer, but they don't really want to pay anybody. So at the moment, I would deter you from working for them for nothing unless you feel that that's fine and you can be supported. But you will be working for nothing for them. I know I work on my own films now. I do my own. In fact, I've just been doing one last week. I've just come back from doing a little film on my own, which was hard work, I can tell you. Having to do the sound, do the camera, do the directing, and I'm trying to get a friend to do the editing because I don't know how to do that. So yeah.
I bought out a little manufacturing company that had been going for hundreds of years that made ceremonial military equipment for the army. Mostly plumes, some headgear, but mostly plumes. So the household cavalry sitting on the horse, that onion-shaped horsehair plume, we make those. But the army was getting smaller and smaller, not necessarily a bad thing. But I realised that there was scope to move this into other areas. So I contacted assistant costume designers. First, I contacted, just reading them off TV screens on the credits, costume designers, none of them interested. But if you talk to the assistant costume designers, and I think that would probably be the case in any kind of field, whether it's costume, makeup, props, the assistants are the ones who like to know who they can get to make stuff. So that's what I'm telling people today. Go for the assistant, not the bottom assistants, but the second sort of row of assistant costume designers, assistant prop makers, whatever. They're the ones who like a list of who can specialise, because our stuff is very, very specialised. It's military style plumes with some sort of metal work. Being self-employed. I much prefer that because I've always been self-employed. Well, not always, but for most of my life I've been self-employed, and it can make you very arrogant because you can tell people, no, I'm not doing that, and it gives you a lot of free time so that you can pursue your hobbies, and turn your hobby into the next career. So it can be quite lonely being self-employed, especially if you work from home like I do, but I have an assistant who comes in a few days a week, and I've got some outworkers. But you are on your own. You have to sort out your tax, you have to sort out your VAT, and you have to be totally self-reliant. Most self-employed people work very hard. I'm an exception. I don't work hard, I'm actually quite lazy. It sounds like I work hard, I don't. But you do have to make sure things are done, even if you're lazy like me. A song for the film, so it's to use everything you can, be really bold. If you don't ask, you won't get. So it's just keep asking people, and you also learn that when you ask your friends to be in a film, they say yes, but they don't think it through. So you've got to make sure they all turn up, because there's not a lot in it for them in this. Even I did end up paying them £40 a day just so they turn up, but they all turn into complete bastards because they know they just walk and your film is fucked. This year I've done tons of work for their company. Again, it's the specialist horsehair stuff, producing skirts and dresses. Again, a little bit of metal work, but mostly horsehair stuff. So most of my fashion work's been with Alexander McQueen, most of it. This year I actually got a credit. I said I've been doing this for years, can I have a credit? And a few other companies have started phoning me up asking for similar type of stuff. But it's not a massive, apart from this year, it was usually only a few £1,000s a year. This year I think I've done over 10 grand's worth of work for him. So he's dead obviously, but for his company and the new designers.
Watching another film, like I may watch like a western or sci-fi or something. Oh, that's really good, but I think I could have done it better. And so I come up with an idea to actually make, to kind of use something which I thought was quite a good idea and put my own spin on it. Sometimes it's through my own life.
Yeah.
You have aspects of your own life. The best writers take elements of their own life or stuff that's happened to them in their life or stuff that's happened to their family or friends, and you basically use that life experience and then fictionalise it to make it exciting. So sometimes, sometimes there's aspects of things that have happened to me, and sometimes you kind of rather than go out and get a gun and kill people, you actually,
What happens to you?
yeah, you actually write about, you actually find a way to kind of get rid of all that kind of darkness that may be inside you or anger, and you release it through writing. That happens quite a lot. Well, the key thing to remember with writing is there's no right or wrong way to write something. There's a correct way to format something. That's the skill you would need before wanting to write anything. You would need to learn how to format a script. What that means is the way a script is actually laid out on the page. The way the industry works is, if you was to send, say you had a great idea and you just write it out handwritten and you sent it to a producer or a director or a production company, TV company, if they looked at it and it's not formatted correctly, it doesn't matter if it's the greatest idea in the world, they will throw it in the bin. They won't even look past page 1. So the main skill to learn is how to format a script and then how to structure it. The actual content of a story, whatever your story may be, there's no right or wrong answer for that, because that's what you yourself want to put across, what you yourself want to say to the audience. And never let anyone tell you that you have to say certain things or have certain characters. It's about what you want and what you want to watch. If you write something and you like it, then there's going to be an audience out there which are going to like it as well. I'm kind of well known in the British independent film industry. I'd love to be over in America and making more American-based films. Where, yeah, I'd like to start writing studio films. At present, I work in the British film industry, and there's nothing wrong with the British film industry, but you're talking anywhere between, say, $500,000 to like $2-3 million to make a film, and it sounds a lot of money, but it's not, because when you think in America, yeah, and I'd like to start, writing films which I can actually. I've got agents interested in America, and I'd like to start getting American-based scripts actually out there. That's where I see myself in 2-3 years.